don't kill till both of them are legitimate.
The Gemara in Shabbos, Daf Chafal from the Beis, the Sugi of Chanukah, the Gemara says, Aser l'shtamish la'ira. One is not allowed to have anah from the Ner Chanukah. You're not allowed to benefit and use the candles of the menorah for your personal use. It's also brought in Shulchan Aruch, Hilchos Chanukah, Siman Tafrei Shayin Gimel, Sif Aleph. What's the reason? Why is it Aser l'shtamish la'ira of the Neiros of Chanukah? So there's a machlekes rishonim. Rashi, right there on the Gemara, Rashi says a lashon. V'asel l'shtamish la'ira, Rashi says, sheyehi nikir, shehu ner mitzvah v'leka l'mecha, should be nikir, shehu ner mitzvah. That means that if somebody's going to use the Neiros of Chanukah for his personal use, you don't know, who knows that when you lit it to mefarsim the nes. It could be the reason why it was hudlak was actually for your personal use. So memela, it's asal l'shtamish la'ira, and if you actually want to use the Neiros, you have to put a shamas, which means it'll be nicker, that when you're using it, you're using actually the shamas, you're not using the Neiros of Chanukah. It should be hukar that it's l'mitzvasa. The Ran, other Rishonim say a different reason, that the reason why it's asal l'shtamish la'ira is dumya to the Beis Hamikdash. Why do we light Neiros Chanukah to a zeicher to the menorah of the Beis Hamikdash? Since it's a zeicher of the Beis Hamikdash and the menorah in the Beis Hamikdash is asal l'shtamish la'ira, so we want it to be bedoimet to the Neiros of the Beis Hamikdash. It was either last year, 2 years ago, I gave a shiur with many different hashvoyes, dimyonis of the Neiros of Chanukah to the Neiros of the Beis Hamikdash. For an example, Erev Shabbos next week, there's many that are try to daven mincha before lighting, and the reason for that is because mincha is neged tamar shel bein harabayim, and the menorah in the Beis Hamikdash was lit afterwards. And therefore, we want it to be bedoimed a ner menorah of Chanukah to menorah of the Beis Hamikdash. That's the reason some say how you can make a bracha on the minug of lighting a Beis HaKnesses, even if you hold that you don't make a bracha on the minug. The teretz is because this is bedoimed to the Beis Hamikdash. So meil over here also asal l'shtamish la'ira bedoimed to the Beis Hamikdash. But we're going to focus on the first pshat why it's asal l'shtamish la'ira. Rashi explains asal l'shtamish la'ira because we want that there should be a hecker. There should be a hecker on the Neiros of Chanukah. The Gemara says weiter that the Gemara that Sugi of Chafal from the Beis. The Gemara says mizman atakana, when they were masakan to light the menorah, you lit the menorah outside, and that was the Persu Menisa, the Oivrim V'Shavim. People saw the menorah. Came this Zman HaSakana, they said move the menorah inside, Manich al Shulchanoi, and it's enough. However, says the Gemara, and this is also brought in Shulchan Aruch, when they moved the menorah inside, you have to add a shamas. It's Lashon HaGemara. V'tzorach ner acher l'shtamish la'irei. You need a shamas. And how the Bir Halacha explains, not only if you're going to use the Neiros of Chanukah do you need a shamas, even if you're not going to use those candles, you still need a shamas. Why? Since we want the menorah should be a hecker for Persumei Nisa, and if you light it inside, Maniach al Shulchan, it's on your kitchen table, on your dining room table, so it's not nicker that the reason why it's there is for the mitzvah. So even if you're not going to use it, even if you're not going to use the menorah for your own personal use, you still have to put a shamas. So again, outside, if you light the menorah outside, then there's no need for a shamas, unless you want to use and benefit from the menorah. And the reason why you don't need a shamas is because there's a hecker that you're lighting it outside. It's for the reason why you're lighting it outside is for the Neiros of Chanukah, for the mitzvah. Mashaken inside al Shulchanai, over there's no Mashaken inside Manich al Shulchani. Even if you're not going to use it, it's not hukar that you're doing a mitzvah. So mainly you have to put a ner acher. That's what the Bir Halacha explains. The Pshat and the Gemara, Rashi, Mishabura brings it. What happens if you don't have a shamas? you do have a shamas, is the shamas ma'akiv, which means if you light the menorah al shulchanai without a shamas, were you yoytze the mitzvah of Ner Chanukah or not? How we explained, you need, it's also a shtamish la'ira that there should be a hacker, you're lighting it for Ner Chanukah. And al shulchanai, even if you're not using it, you don't have a hacker. So mameli you have to put a shamas. What happens if you don't put a shamas? Are you yoytze the mitzvah or not? So the Shulchan Aruch and Siman Tafrei Shayin Ches, the Shulchan Aruch discusses a scenario if somebody does not have only one candle. What happens if a person only has one candle, and that candle he could either, it's Friday afternoon, he could either light it for Ner Shabbos or he could light it for Ner Chanukah. Now you can't do both, and the reason why you can't do both is because Ner Chanukah is outside and Ner Shabbos is inside. Furthermore, Ner Chanukah is also l'shtamish la'ira. You're not going to benefit from Ner Chanukah. Ner Shabbos, not only it's not aser, you're mechuyev to be in the henna. But even if, let's say, you're not gonna be in the henna, you're not yoytze. Whether if it's for shalom bayis, for oinik Shabbos, you're supposed to be in the henna. So if a person only has one candle, if he has two, so then obviously do one for Chanukah and you're yoytze. You don't have to, even if you don't have all the amount of the nights, you light one candle, you yoytze. And one for Shabbos. But if you only have one candle, so what should you do? Should you light the Ner of Shabbos or should you light the Ner of Chanukah?
Is it shaykh to say that you'll have the Habakah, Mitchila, Shabbos, you need to have it as Mana Mamish. The first shear that you're Nahana, the Takabi Nahana from the Ner. And then later on, you'll have in mind when you light it that later on it should be already a tonight, that it's already over for Shabbos. And then after that, you could be Yotze ready for Ner Chanukah. You'll go past the shir.
Reb Shlomo Yosef is asking that l'chayra you could, no, it's, I don't know if it's hooks or fakir over there, it's used already. Reb Shlomo Yosef is asking that could be you should be able to split that candle first for Shabbos and for Chanukah. So first of all, if that's the case that you could use half hour, or you have a mount for both, I would just say split the candle. Be a side, split the oil, light both. We're talking about you literally have only one. But even more, you can't do both because Ner Chanukah is outside and Ner Shabbos is inside. And that's what the Shulchan Aruch says, that since you can't do both, so Mamela, you should only do Ner Shabbos because Mishum Shalom bias is Adifa, and therefore you should light just Ner Shabbos and you don't do Ner Chanukah. That's a din of the Shulchan Aruch. However,
today with electricity, the whole time is...
Very good, very good. I actually said this shir yesterday in the 10th grade, and they asked this question. I saw they speak about it. With electricity, it's a whole shayla b'chlal and the Neiros of Shabbos. The poskim speak about it. That since his electricity could be, you could technically be yotza, but l'maisa the mitzvah is you're not yotza a fluorescent. What type of bulb? I think that's a shmooze for itself. What'd you say?
Get a plug in menorah also.
You have?
Get a plug in menorah too.
So we're not going to speak about that as well, about electric and a plug and menorah. I think I gave a shir here about 2 years ago, but just a nutshell about it. What'd you say? There's an issue with a menorah that's plugged in because you don't have 30 minutes of oil, as opposed to a battery, which would technically be better. Poskim speak about it. Let's say you're on an airplane. You can't light menorah. So if you have the right bulbs, that the shittas that you can even make a boyer moira eish. If you use those bulbs for menorah, a plug-in, so you don't have, just like when you light a menorah at Laka Isa Mitzvah, you have to put 30 minutes of oil to be yotza. If not, you're not yotza. You can't put it later. What'd you say?
The electric company has enough fuel.
You're right, but the wire is pulling in. It's like as if you light a menorah with oil.
The battery here too.
What'd you say?
The battery is better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The battery is better because in the battery it's stored 30 minutes of juice, as opposed to the wire, it's pulling from the electric company. Unless Moshe is saying it's considered connected like you have it right here. I have to look up the Maramakamis, but that's what they say why a battery is better.
I'm not saying, but the shayla, what does the Shabbos do with the Mishnah Berurah? It brings it, that it's showing you that you have other things, Shabbos making light, that the Chanukah left is, that proves that Chanukah left is for Chanukah because we have already light. So the electric should help for that. Today, we have other lights, so we know, so you wouldn't need a Shabbos today.
For both reasons. We said, let me just a second, we said from the Bir Halacha that Menich al Shalchani, the Gemara says you need a Shabbos. The Bir Halacha explains that there's two reasons why you need it. First of all, because if you're going to be Nehena from it, you're not allowed to be Nehena, so you have to have a Shabbos. But even if you're not going to be Nehena from it, you still need a Shabbos because people are going to see it, they're going to say, you know why you lit it, it's on your dining room table. So you have a good point. Bizmanenu, that is electric, so come to Chayis, no one's thinking that you're lighting the menorah for that. Yeah.
Did you make the Halik Neshul Shabbos on the Shabbos?
What'd you say?
Did you make the Halik Neshul Shabbos on the Shabbos?
Oh, Yitzi, so that's what I was pointing out before, that we're talking about you literally have one candle. If you have two candles, and what you're saying is you have one for menorah and one for the shamas, you don't light a shamas, you light ner Chanukah. If two candles, you could be yotza both. The shaila is if you only have one candle, and you could only, that one candle is enough for one of the mitzvahs, what do you do? The halacha is, psuka and Shulchan Aruch, that you light the ner Shabbos, shalom bayis is adif. Says the Mishnah Brura.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt. There's one more thing though. It really depends on how long the candle is because in both cases you need to make sure that the candle can last until it gets dark, right? Side near Chanukah, side near Shabbos. So if your candle's not going to be big enough, doesn't help you. In either case, you're going to light it before candlelight, before lich benching on Friday. What's today?
4:10.
Whatever. If you light it at 4:05, okay. So Friday night, the Ner Chanukah has to burn till what? 5:30, 5 o'clock, whatever. Ner Shabbos out till you get home from shul. And if it goes out during
earlier, that's true. That's a point, even not negate to this halach if a person only has one candle. It's important din. I talked yesterday morning, I did a bris in Philadelphia, and the Rav said a dvar halach, a very important din. The Rav said that even if you use, let's say, those colorful candles, it burns for a half hour, but he said, very good. Erev Shabbos, you can't use those candles because it goes out before the Zman. So that's true. And also, if you light the candles Erev Shabbos, sometimes people light candles, and if you go to the Koisel till you get back, if it went out, it's not Pashat. So you're right, that's a true din. We're not discussing it. This is not relevant to the Shaila because this is, you have one candle, and that candle will either cover you completely for the Ner Chanukah or cover for Shabbos. But it's a good point what you brought up, that regardless, it has to burn the full Zman. But says the Mishnah Brura, Bizmanenu, which means after that they changed the takana, Bizmana sakana, that they moved it inside Menich al Shulchanai, then the din changes. You rather light near Chanukah, and you don't light near Shabbos. Pashta Mishnah Brura. The bizman hazeh shemadlikim befnim, you should light near Chanukah. Why? Why should you light near Chanukah? Because lamaisa, by lighting near Chanukah, you're not going to sit in the dark. So you accomplish what the Shulchan Aruch says, Ner Shabbos is Shalom Bayis, Einik Shabbos. You accomplish that with Ner Chanukah. So you're going to tell me, what do you mean you accomplish that with Ner Chanukah? Ner Chanukah is also l'shtamish loira. Yeah, very good, man. It's also l'shtamish loira. V'afal pisha also l'shtamish loira. So he says, Ablai's kashasa sakana, that they moved it inside. And when they moved it inside, so what, they moved it inside. But we saw clear, the Gemara says, even when they moved it inside, you have to have a shamas, even if you're not using it. And if you're using it, you for sure need a shamas. Explains the Sharet Zion that that's only me'ikar adin. B'di'evid, if you don't have a shamas, not only could you light on your dining room table without a shamas, but you could actually even have anor. You could have anor from Neiros Chanukah. That's what the Sharet Zion explains. V'after Shabbos the tzarach ner acher l'shtamish lo'iroi. Ube'emes an ein loy ner acher. You don't have a shamas. Mutter. It's mutter. Mutter l'shtamish lo'iroi. So what we cleared before, what happens if you don't have a shamas? Are you yoitze? And even furthermore, could you be nehena? The answer is yes. But only if you want shita. The Mishnah Brura brings roiva achroinim hold not like that. That even after the takana brought it inside, it stays like outside. That if you don't, it stays. We stay with the din that it's asal l'shtamish la'ira. That's what the Sharet Zion explains. The mashma the daitem then yidluk l'ner Chanukah. It's asal l'shtamish la'ira, and therefore, what the Shulchan Aruch says, if you only have one candle,
That would change the whole house of. Shmana Psilas Shmana Asal Shamash the Neiros Shabbos and Mikla Shamash Chanukah. If you're going to say change, that whole halacha changes too.
That's correct. L'chayra, yeah.
What do you say?
If you could be nana, then you have to be careful with which type of wick you like.
Lamaisa, that's true, but we're going in the shita of the Gemara over there that it's asal l'shtamish la'ira, and even in asal l'shtamish la'ira, which the Gemara says, therefore, there's no chashash shebayata, but the evan you could use it. So you're saying l'chayra should come out. It's really a kasha. It's not a din. It's a kasha because the Gemara says if it's asal l'shtamish la'ira, then there's no problem of shebayata using all types of oils. So the question is, it's a good shiloh. Moshe is asking the lamaisa if you're allowed to use it b'di'evid, why is the no chashash shemayata? Could be because be'etzim you're not allowed to, only b'di'evid. It's a good shiloh. So what do we have over here? We have a machlekes. A minute. I want to just. You think I'll take more questions, please. What do we have? We have a machlekes over here. If you only have one candle, bismanenu, what should you do? Should you light Ner Shabbos or Ner Chanukah? The Mishnah Berurah brings the first sheet is to light Ner Chanukah, because with Ner Chanukah you can accomplish Ner Shabbos also. Ner Shabbos is that it should be light in your house. You should see what you're eating. You shouldn't bang into things. So that you have that with Ner Chanukah as well. What bracha do you make? That's a shvuz in the poskim also. But you accomplish Ner Shabbos as well. And the other shittas argue and say, no, you can't accomplish that. Because since it's asal l'shtamish la'ira, asal l'shtamish la'ira means that you're not allowed to benefit from the light. So even if you light on your dining room table, you can't use the light to be able to see what's going on, to see what you're eating.
What about Tadash and Tadash?
It's a good shiloh. The truth is that really on the din itself, you could ask. The Shulchan Aruch says the reason why you light Ner Shabbos is a reason of the truth is, it goes into what the reason is. But I mean, the Shulchan Aruch itself says the reason why you madlik Ner Shabbos is because of Shalom Bayis. Typically, it's Tadar.
In the bracha I'm making the bracha of Shabbos, not the bracha of Chanukah. If you do Tadash and Tadash, then I'm making the bracha of Shabbos.
No, I understand, but the Shulchan Aruch says the reason why you light Ner Shabbos when you only have one candle, not Ner Chanukah, the Shulchan Aruch says because of Shalom Bayis. Oh, yeah, should have said. You're asking very good. I got this question yesterday also. Why is the reason should be it's Tadar. Maybe Persu Manisa is bigger. I think that's what they handle when.
But this is a lot if you do both, which one you do first. If you do only one, like there's no sense in it. No?
Then you go and show bias.
That's right. I'm remembering that, Taka. Very good, Alex. Very good. Tadar v'she'enet Tadar. Someone says that you said. I'm going to look it up afterwards. Tadar v'she'enet Tadar is only if you do both. So then there's a din. Which one you should do first? Maybe there's a brisker Rav about it. I forgot. I have to check who says it, but it's a good. No, I think they say that you say that Tadar v'she'enet Tadar kaidem doesn't mean they speak about it. Let's say if you have mincha and musaf, and you could only do one. If you could do both, so then there's a din of Tadar v'she'enet Tadar. But let's say it's very close and you cannot do both, so then already doesn't go into the din of Tadar v'she'enet Tadar. To get back to it, but all I was just bringing is that from the Shulchan Aruch. You see, the Shulchan Aruch doesn't say it's Tadar. The Shulchan Aruch says it's Shalom Bayis. So to be masber a machlekes, yes, Yitzi.
Let me explain why is Ner Chanukah asal l'shtamish? Why?
So that's what we started off with. Why is Ner Chanukah? It's fine. I'll say it over. Why is Ner Chanukah asal l'shtamish la'ira? It's important to understand because that's going to be the whole rest of the shir now. Why is Ner Chanukah asal l'shtamish la'ira? The Gemara says asal l'shtamish la'ira. Rashi explains one of the reasons, at least. Rashi says is because if you're going to use the light of the menorah, it's not nicker that the menorah is here for Persu Medisa. Maybe you lit it because you want your dining room to be lit up. You want to see, you want to read a book, you want to learn, you want to do something. It's not nicker that you did a lamitzvah, which therefore is going to come out that there's no Persu Medisa. So we have over here a machlokes in the Achrayim if Persu Medisa is ma'akav or not. The first sheet in the Mishnah Berurah is if there's no Persu Medisa, it's still fine. Therefore, if you only have one candle, light Chanukah, enjoy it, and there will not be Persu Medisa, but still you do it. The second sheet is no. You don't have Persu Medisa, you're not Yoitza. L'chayr, the hezber in this machlokes, which we'll get to soon. Ramosha explains it in a different machlokes Achrayim. The hezber is What is the mitzvahs hadlokas ner Chanukah? We're going to start this coming Sunday for 8 days. There's a mitzvah d'Rabbanan to light the menorah. Is the mitzvah to light, but they want to accomplish Persumei Nisa, but the mitzvah is to light the menorah. That's the mitzvah. Of course, we want to accomplish Persumei Nisa, but the mitzvah is to light. Or the opposite, the mitzvah is Persumei Nisa. Chachamim came and said, we want Persumei Nisa. How do we accomplish Persumei Nisa? By lighting the menorah. What's the mitzvah? Of course, you have to light the Neiros. But is the Neiros there to accomplish Persumei Nisa? Or the opposite? The Neiros is the mitzvah. The Chacham said light Neiros. Of course, we want to accomplish Persumei Nisa. And the nafka mina would be exactly this. If, let's say, you would light and you do not accomplish Persumei Nisa, are you yoytze the mitzvah or not? In this case, you only have one candle, you're lighting the Ner Chanukah, but you're being nehaneh from the candle, so there is no Persumei Nisa. Are you yoytze or you're not yoytze? That's this machlekes achreinim. That's this machlekes. If you yoytze the mitzvahs adlokas neiros when there is no Persumei Nisa. The truth is that this machlekes achreinim is really the pashtus a machlekes rishonim. The Gemara, again on that Amid Chafal from Amid Beis in the Sugya of Chanukah, the Gemara, when the Gemara discusses Atlaka Oisa Mitzvah Nachai, the Gemara brings a brisa that the Zman of Atlaka, says the Gemara, Mitzvasa, Mishatishka Achama, the mitzvah of Atlaka Sneir Chanukah is from Shkia, Acha Tichle Regel Menashok. The Gemara has two ways how to learn that brisa. Either the Gemara says that the Bryce is coming to say Azman, the Eloi Adlik Madlik, which means really you should light by Shkia. But if you didn't get around to light by Shkia, you have time till Tichle Regel. Inami says the Gemara, it's not coming to say a time of lighting, but rather it's coming to say an amount, how much to use to light. You should put enough oil, the amount of oil is from Shkia to Tichle Regel. Two pshatim in the Gemara. You could learn that the two pshatim in the Gemara don't argue. The Brisa is saying two dinim. One din is when is the time to light, any time between Shkia and Tichle Regel. It's a time. Or you can learn that the Brisa is coming to say, also coming to say, not or, also, that how much oil do you have to put? You have to put enough oil. You have to put enough oil to burn the time of the oil should be enough to burn from Shkia till Tichle Regel. But that's the amount. So you need both. You have to light in this time frame, and you also have to light that amount of oil. Tosfos learns that these two pshatim in the Gemara argue. The Gemara says that the first teretz is that you have a time frame, and the time frame is ma'akiv, meaning to say is that after Tichle Regel you're not yoytze, you can't light anymore. That's what Tosfos explains. And the second pshat in the Gemara, that the Gemara says the amount of oil, it doesn't make a difference when you light. Even after Tichle Regel Menashuk, you can still light as long as you put in that amount. Tosfos learns that the two pshatim in the Gemara are arguing. Is the Zman Ma'akev? The first sheet in the Gemara says the Zman is Ma'akev after Tichle Regel Menashuk you're not yoytze, and the second sheet says you can light after Tichle Regel. And Tosfos says, what happens if it's after Tichle Regel? Then Tichle Regel is when it got dark, so soon afterwards, half hour, whatever the Zman is, people stopped. What's today? That's a good shaila. But whenever the Zman of Tichle Regel is, after Tichle Regel, at 11 o'clock at night, should you light or should you not light? That would be dependent on the two pshatim in the Gemara. Tosfos says, Mesafik, you shall light. Tosfos says you shall light. It's a machlokes in the Gemara, you shall light. The Rambam in Perek Dalet says, if you miss the time of Tichle Regel Menashuk, you no longer light. You don't light anymore. So we have a machlokes rishonim, if after Tichle Regel Menashuk, if you can light. Rabbi say after Tichla Regel Menashuk, what's the point of Tichla Regel? Once people don't walk by anymore, so there's no more Persume Nisa. So the Machlokes Rishonim is if Persume Nisa is Ma'akev. Like we just said before. Is the Takana Persume Nisa, and if you have no Persume Nisa, you're not Yoitze the Mitzvah. So after Zok the Rambam, after Tichla Regel Menashuk, you can't light. But if the mitzvah is not tichler, is not Persume Nisa, the mitzvah is rather hadlaka, we would love to accomplish a Persume Nisa, but even if you don't have Persume Nisa, you're still going to be Yaitza. The Loshna Rambam, the Achroinim HaMedayik, the Loshna Rambam, the Rambam one goes through what happened Chanukah, and the Rambam says the Ness of Chanukah, and the Rambam toich the story that they were masakin, the Chachamim were masakin out Lokas Neiros, umadlikin behena Neiros be'erev al pischei abatim cholayla v'layla mishmoynes aleilas laharois ulagalois anes. They want to be medayik from the Rambam that it's not just a side note that we want to accomplish Pirsam Anes, but rather it's from the essence of the mitzvah, and if you don't have Pirsam Anes, you're not Yoitza. So that's what we saw. That's the Machlokes Rishonim. Again, we had that at Machlokes Lagav. If you only have one candle, and if you're going to light near Chanukah, you're really losing out on the Pirsam Anes. Should you do it anyways? One more Machlokes, which is a Machlokes Achroinim, which the Hezber in this Machlokes is also like we're saying. These are Machlokes the Chemed Moshe. These are Machlokes the Chemed Moshe and the Magen Avram. What's the halacha if somebody comes home 3 a.m. and there's no family members around up to be there while you light? They're all sleeping. You're going to wake them up. They're going to be very annoyed. So what could you light with a bracha?
Not with the red gifts.
Very good. You say you can work it out to wake them up. It could be even only one person is also. You don't have to wake up the whole family. What happens if you come home 3 a.m., everybody's sleeping, and you cannot wake them up? Could you light with a bracha? You could for sure light, but could you light with a bracha? These are Machlokes, the Chemed Moshe and the Magen Avram. If you can light. And Rav Moshe actually wants to stretch this Machlokes. If somebody goes far away on a business trip and there are no Yidden to be found, so we will not be Pirsam Anes. But these are Machlokes, the Chemed Moshe and the Magen Avram. In the case that you come home and everybody's sleeping and you cannot wake them up, could you light with the bracha? And explains Rav Moshe Feinstein that the Machlokes is this shaila. Is Pirsam Anes the mitzvah? And if you have no Pirsam Anes, you're not going to be Yoitza. If you have no Pirsam Anes, you're not going to be Yoitza. The Magen Avram says when you come home 3 a.m. and everybody's sleeping, there is no Pirsam Anes, and therefore you can't make a bracha. The Chemed Moshe holds the mitzvah is to light. Of course, we want to accomplish Pirsam Anes. But in a case where there's no Pirsam Anes, you're still going to be Yoitza.
Pirsam Anes? Cigars in this? That's lighting? What's lighting?
That was the takana. The menorah, we didn't have oil, and whatever the nace was, the many different shatim. You're saying, of course, what comes out is Pirsam Anes, but the takana was because of the Skaras Anes, yeah.
So, two things. Number one, what regarding waking people up, isn't that Gezel Shena? Does that get overridden because you wouldn't like Ner Chanukah with the bracha? What does Gezel Shena come into that?
It's a good shaila. Yitzi's asking about Gezel Shena not to wake somebody up. If you hold like the Magen Avram that you can't make a bracha because you're not Yoitze, it could be your family members would be maskim. But it's a good shaila, Taka.
But that's my problem. It's your problem. Your problem is when you get a good night's sleep. Well, why is that my problem?
No. If you come home and everybody's sleeping, and you could assume that one of the family members are happy that you should wake them up, that you should be able to makayim the mitzvah, it may not be a problem of Gezel Sheni because you could assume they're maskim that you should wake them up. So just to be masakim, and then I wanted to please take the question, just to be masakim, what we have over here, the Gemara says it's asal l'shtamish la'ira, and that's lahalacha. You're not allowed to benefit. You're not allowed to use the candles of Chanukah for your own use. And we saw that, is it ma'akiv, which means, let's say in a case that you have to, or you don't have pirsum anes, are you still yotzei the mitzvah? And that would depend what the mitzvah is. This chakira, this shaila is the mitzvah, the hadlaka, or the mitzvah, the pirsum. We saw there's a few nafkaminas. One nafkamina is lagabi if you only have one candle Erev Shabbos. Another nafkamina is the rishonim lagabi after tichla regel min hashuk if you still light. And also late at night, which we light even late at night because you have pirsum anes inside from the family members. But lamaisa, if there's nobody there, what's the halacha? Do you light? Could you light with a bracha? Have a wonderful Shabbos and a freilich Chanukah.